Hey guys, YouTube Terminator here. Alright, and now here I am with another Terminator review. And now here I am with a review for Terminator 3 Rise of the Machines. So, yeah, like I said before, a lot of people have really said, after the second film is really, how the Terminator movies really did start to go downhill and everything after Terminator 2 really just seemed like total, unneeded filler and stuff that really didn't need to exist and pretty much pointless films after that. And this film in particular really does get a lot of hate for being so unneeded and just no reason to exist. And quite frankly, I agree. Yeah, I mean, I don't recall ever actually watching this film in its entirety before. I mean, I have watched parts of it before, like when this movie has been on TV and stuff, but I don't think I've ever sat down to really watch the entire thing in its entirety until I just watched it to make this review. And yeah, really just yeah, this film just it's not very good. I mean, yeah, it just really comes across as just totally forced and unneeded and just a totally useless and pointless story for this film. Yeah. I mean, yeah, and it also just seems like just a absolute just cheap knockoff of the second film because there are just so many things that are done exactly like that were done in the second film, and it's really just it just seems like a really cheap knockoff because now once again the story is that uh, a Terminator has been sent back in time by Skynet and to kill members of the human resistance this time and not just John in particular. Yeah, and then of course another Terminator Team 101 is also sent back to protect the targets, which include John and also this girl that he's with that he will eventually marry. Yeah, and yeah, it's basically just what it was in the second film. I mean, just how the Terminator sent by Skynet is targeting all targeting John and all of the members of the human resistance in the future, and the Terminator is just out to just protect John and everybody else that is part of the human resistance in the future. And yeah, that's pretty much it. It's pretty much just the same premise of Terminator 2. And yeah, but it's just done so cheaply and it's not done as good at all. It really just, yeah, it's just a useless and pointless story because they say that after what John, Sarah, and the Terminator did in the second film, they didn't actually stop Judgment Day from happening. They just postponed it from happening at that time, but it'll still happen at another point in the future. So yeah, so it really just screws up the entire storyline of these films, and really just yeah, it just really makes it just really, really just yeah, it just seemed like they were just making excuses to just have the series continue with this film and then with the films that would follow in the future. So yeah, and to me that's what it really comes off as, and I just really don't like this film. Yeah, so really in this film, the only returning actor back is Arnold Schwarzenegger as the Terminator. I mean, yeah, you do have John back in this film, but Edward Furlong doesn't reprise the role in this film. This time, John is played by Nick Stahl, and there are also cast members like Christina Loken, Claire Danes, David Andrews, and so yeah, people like that. So, uh, yeah, and really just the acting really doesn't seem all that good. I mean, even Arnold Schwarzenegger as the Terminator, it seems his acting seems really watered down compared to how great he was in the first two films. I mean, yeah, it just seems it's just the performance this time just seems kind of phoned in, and it just seems like now the Terminator is really just knows these things by himself because it's obviously a different model of the T-800 than it was in the first two films. Well, yeah, even in the second film, it was a different model than the one from the first film, and now it's another one again. And yeah, this time it just seems like he already knows a lot of stuff that John had gone over with him in the second film. So yeah, so yeah, yeah. And in this film, they also say it's been 10 years since the events of the second film, and so Sarah has died, died since then. So yeah, Sarah's not actually in this film. Yeah, yeah, and yeah, pretty much like everything else is really just like a carbon copy, pretty much, of a very uh, watered down and just a cheap knockoff off off of Terminator 2. And so, yeah, because it is pretty much just the same premise as Terminator 2, but yeah, it's not told as good at all. And yeah, it just really comes across as just as a really useless and pointless story. So, yeah, I just really don't know what else to say about it. So, yeah, it's just not a very good film, and I really don't recommend it. I would really recommend you just stick to the first two films. I mean, I don't really know about Genesis yet, or like the new film Dark Fate, since obviously Dark Fate hasn't come out. It doesn't come out until on Friday, but yeah, as of right now, I really haven't seen Genesis yet, so I really don't know whether or not to really say that's worth watching or not. I'm just gonna have to wait and see until I actually do see it to make the review for it. But yeah, as far as how this one goes, I really don't recommend watching it. So yeah, I would probably give this film, I don't know, 2 stars out of 4. I mean, yeah, it's really like a really big downgrade compared to the first two films and how great those were. So yeah, just yeah, a pretty lame sequel and a pretty big letdown as far as like completing the trilogy that it was originally intended to be. So yeah, okay, so yeah, so I guess I'll just like talk a little bit about the premise. So yeah, like I said, the film is set like 10 years since the events of Terminator 2, and how John is now living in Los Angeles off the grid after his mother died. Right? Yeah, and then yeah, John like even though like John did like prevent uh the Judgment Day from happening in 1997, and he still is like in fear of it, but he still like rejects the fate of the saver of humanity, and he was just hiding from Skynet. And then yeah, Skynet then like send another Terminator model, which is known as the TX, back in time to the present time to now like kill all the other members of the human resistance. It's to ensure that Skynet does like become victorious and they live on. But also, of course, the Resistance then send once again a reprogrammed T-101 Terminator to protect all of the everyone that the TX is targeting, which includes John as well as another woman, Kate Brewster. Yeah, and then and eventually John and then comes across Kate, and apparently they do have a history. Apparently they do know each other from junior high school, and Kate is like a veterinarian or something. She worked at an animal hospital, and as the TX tries to launch an attack at Kate and John, then the Terminator then comes along. After, of course, he did the same thing. He like stole somebody's clothes, had a car, and then yeah, he then had was able to fight off the TX that helped John and Kate escape. But then, yeah, John went through the same thing that he went through with the previous Terminator. And the Terminator, of course, informed him that the one he encountered before was a different model, and John has to like just teach him the same stuff over again. Yeah, but then eventually the Terminator then took them to a mausoleum where John's mother was like supposedly interred, but really inside like her casket, there were just like a weapons cache left at her request in case Judgment Day occurred, and the Terminator explained that Sarah was really cremated and her ashes were just spread out out to sea. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then, yeah, the Terminator also told them that Judgment Day wasn't actually stopped from happening, it was just postponed due to what John and Sarah did in the previous film. Yeah. Yeah, and the TEX also then like a track where Kate lived, and then she ended up killing her boyfriend and then posed as him. So yeah, she basically has the same abilities as the T-1000 did. And then after the police came and they told who they thought was her boyfriend, which of course was just the TX that Kate was missing, then she went with the police. He's posing as the boyfriend to find her, and then yeah, the police then eventually arrived, and then the TX actually was able to find Kate and tried to change her down, but the Terminator and John were able to recover her before the TX could get to her. And then, the Terminator also revealed that, that he has the plans to just help John and Kate bail from the fallout and just bring them to Mexico when Skynet starts the nuclear attack at 6:18 p.m. that day. Yeah. Yeah, and then John tried to order the Terminator again, but this time the Terminator said that he's not programmed to follow John's orders, and that he does reveal that Kate ended up saving him, and he follows Kate's orders, and he also revealed at one point that in the future that he was sent from, he is actually the one that kills John on that time. Yeah, but then Kate and John then ordered the Terminator to take them to see Kate's father, who's a U.S. Air Force general, and he apparently is supervising the development of Skynet for CRS after of course after Miles. Yeah, after Miles Dyson ended up dying, of course, in the second film, and so he's continuing on with Miles' work. Yeah, and then the Terminator then took them there, but then and when they arrived there, the general ended up facing pressure from the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff to activate Skynet to stop an anomalous computer virus of unknown origin from invading servers worldwide. And then, John and Kate then tried to arrive to stop her father from activating Skynet. The TX ended up arriving, and she the machines were then just attacking the staff, and the TX ended up shooting down the general. And before he died, he actually told Kate and John the location of what John believes is Skynet's system core. And then as John and Kate headed for the tarmac to take the general's single-engine plane, and they tried to get to Crystal Peak, which is a facility that's built in the Sierra Nevada. And then, the TX then fought with the Terminator, and then, the TX ended up severely damaging the Terminator, including just stomping its head and just snapping it from its neck, separating the head from the neck. And then the TX then just reprogrammed the Terminator to kill John, and as the TX then went after John and Kate through one of the facilities, then a particle accelerator ended up being activated, and the magnetic field and bonded to the TX to the accelerator, and she was just transformed into just a metal type of thing, and then I guess John and Kate were then able to get to the plane. The Terminator then ended up arriving, and he still had his normal mindset, but he still couldn't control the functions that the TX programmed him to do. And then as he was starting to attack John then convinced the Terminator to reject the TX's control, and then the Terminator then eventually ended up shutting the system down, and then allowed John and Kate to escape. And once they left, then the Terminator systems ended up rebooting. But then when John and Kate were able to reach Crystal Peak. Then the TX then arrived in a helicopter, but yeah, the Terminator also ended up arriving in a second helicopter and crashed into the TX and crushed her. And the TX was trying to pull herself from the wreckage and drag inside the bunker to John K. But yeah, the Terminator was able to hold the bunker door open to give John Kate time to lock themselves inside. And once they were able to do that, then and the Terminator then just used one of its hydrogen poles or the hydrogen fuel cells to destroy both him and the TX. And then once John and Kate then arrived at Crystal Peak, they then saw that it wasn't a Skynet's core, but it was just a nuclear fallout shelter and command facility for like government and military officials, and there isn't actually any core for Skynet, and it's a part of cyberspace after becoming self-aware. And then, yeah. Then John and Kate then started receiving radio transmissions, and they discovered that Judgment Day had actually now started, and Skynet was firing nuclear missiles all across the world, which caused the nuclear holocaust that killed billions. And then, yeah, John then assumed command by answering all the radio calls, and then, yeah, John and Kate then just accepted their fate. And then it just ended with some narration from John saying that and like their conflict was not to prevent Judgment Day from happening or anything, and just say that they have to be prepared for battle or something like that. Yeah, then it just showed like the Terminator skull, the endo skull, then just its eye flash just shutting off, and that's how it ended. So yeah, so like I said, it's really not a very good movie. I mean, I don't recommend watching it. It really is just a cheap knockoff of Terminator 2. And it really just comes off like it's just absolutely forced, and it's just a totally useless and pointless story that really, he just, yeah, it really just, I don't even know what I'm trying to say, but it really just makes what they were doing in a Terminator 2 just look really useless, seeing as how what they did actually stop Judgment Day. So yeah, it really just hurts what happened in the previous film. So yeah, so I don't recommend watching it. Like I said, like I would give this only like 2 stars out of 4. So yeah, just avoid this film. As I said, just watch the first two, and yeah, just avoid this one at all costs. So yeah, and of course, like after this, then it would be a while before there were more Terminator films. Of course, they did Terminator Salvation after this, which didn't have Arnold Schwarzenegger, which had Christian Bale. But like I said, due to that not having Arnold Schwarzenegger, I'm not going to review that one. I don't really see that as an actual Terminator film. So yeah, my next review will be of Terminator Genesis, so stay tuned for that coming up after I review It's the Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown tomorrow for Halloween. Alright, so that's going to be my next Terminator review. Alright, so stay tuned for that after I review It's the Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown. Alright, so yeah, so I guess that's all I can really say about it. So this does it for my review of Terminator 3 Rise of the Machines. So I hope you guys did enjoy this review, so thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.